nice intro, good logo. That video he put out had some good editing, and he's recording in his car. But you know what? Circumstances make certain things happen. It's a beautiful day out. The wife's inside. I figured I'd come out here and talk to you guys, right? What's the big deal anyway? As soon as I get a space to record in, it'll be more steady. But for now, it's going to vary from time to time. It is what it is, right? Again, my name is Jason. This is Tried by 12. Put out a video explaining the meaning of Tried by 12. It's basically to be judged, found guilty or not guilty by a group of your peers, which there's 12 of, the jury. There's a famous saying, I'd rather be tried or judged by 12 than carried by 6. Don't know if that's entirely true, but hey, I didn't make it. I didn't make up the saying, all right? Welcome to the first episode, okay? First day in, new kid on the block. A lot of crazy stuff goes on mentally and every now and then physically on the first day in. There's going to be different first day ins, though, that we're going to go over. You'll see what I'm talking about when I get there because I forgot about isolation, stuff like that. But anyway, a little history about me for those of you that don't know. I have spent 6 years of my life in jails and institutions being rehabs, behavioral modification centers, therapeutic communities. So if you name it, I've done it, all right? I've been there. No one's fault but my own. It was all due to drug addiction every time I've been arrested. Obviously, anytime I've been to a rehab, behavioral modification center, it was due to drugs. I had a long history of drug addiction. You know, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it now except move forward. You know, this last run was a long one. Probably about, I haven't drank in 15 years, but that doesn't mean I wasn't doing drugs, you know. I was probably getting messed up. I'm 41 now, probably since probably about 23 straight. I know it's crazy to think, right? But I mean, this last year and a half, that was bad. All right, I've been on methadone for 6-7 years. No longer on it. Let me get that out there right now. 160 milligrams a day. It's enough to kill a horse. Okay. Had a detox in jail. It was good. It was horrible, but it was also not that bad. I will get to it. But it feels so good to be able to wake up in the morning and not be sick as a dog. Not be fighting with my wife because I don't want to have anyone near me, you know, calling out of work, stuff like that. You know, you think everybody's stupid when you're an addict, but you're the only one fooling yourself, man. You know, but it's incredible to not have to wake up, rush to the methadone clinic, drive 25 minutes, 20 minutes, just to drink something that's going to make me feel normal. Like, who does that to themselves besides Jason Giswali? But those of you that know me know making decisions has never been my strong point, right? If you want to be successful in life, do the opposite of everything I've ever done. And you're going to be the most successful person that ever lived, guaranteed. But, yeah, so drug addiction took me through jail many times, all right? I've had the life of a even more mentally handicapped Forrest Gump. I've done it all. High school, I was a star basketball player. Ended up dropping out senior year because I didn't go to class ever. From there, I went to the military, did a short stint in the military, came home, started using drugs like pretty much right away, right? Went to jail for a petty larceny when I was like 23. Got in trouble again. My mother said, you moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air. No, I went out to Arizona, lived with my father. Got in a lot of trouble out there. I mean, I was in Tent City out there, which is a famous one. I'm sure you guys know about it. We'll get into that in another episode. I was in the Matrix out there, which is the jail in Phoenix. Addiction got me again out there. I was homeless. Ended up linking up with a group of people, notorious group of people that I will not mention their name, and doing a bunch of crazy stuff. But we will get into that stuff as well in other episodes. Ended up, these people basically wanted to take my life, so I ended up having to have my ex-girlfriend get me a Greyhound back to New York. 3 days later, I get to New York. The deal was, if she bought me the ticket, I came home, turned myself in on a warrant, right? This is now 2004, 2005. I'm like, yeah, no problem. I get home. I'm not turning myself in. Are you crazy, right? So we stop at 7-Eleven in Center Reach. I was like, I'm not going. So I get out of the car, go in 7-Eleven. She calls the cops while I'm in the car. I come out. Cops are there. I try to run. I can't run anymore. Okay? So I end up going to jail. All right? Hated her guts at the time, but I know she was just trying to look out for me and do what was best. Did that time, came out, continued using drugs, violated probation, whatever, back and forth. Ended up getting a violent felony, my first felony, a violent one, which it was not violent at all, for a burglary too. Because of the time of the day it was, I entered a home, which now as I'm older, I understand. When I was younger, I didn't, okay? I thought it was no big deal, but now if you enter my home, my kids are there, my wife's there, it's going to go bad for you if I'm there, you know, or bad for me. It could happen. But the law is during certain hours, it's automatically violent, because if the homeowner's home, there's no question it's going to turn violent. All right, so I caught a violent felony. They tried to give me 4 years, right? End up going away for a little bit, come back home on felony probation. They released me to Phoenix House, which is a behavior modification center, therapeutic community. Was supposed to do 18 months there. I made it till the 18th month with flying colors. Started dealing drugs in the facility like an idiot. Somebody told on me that I gave drugs to for free. He dropped guilt, they call it, because he felt guilty. So I came home from work one day, and my stuff was on the porch, and they said, "You're out of here." I was supposed to graduate in probably like 2 weeks. So obviously I'm not waiting around for parole to come, because I got time over my head, you know. So I do the boogie oogie. I take off. I go out to Mineola, I believe it was at the time. Chris, where was that? Was it Mineola or Hicksville? So I go out to Hicksville. I stay out there in Nassau County, away from my house. Live out there for a few months. From there, I go to Central Islip. Stay with this dude, Sal, rest in peace. I was with him for probably like a good 3-4 months. Right? Sal, one day I'm sleeping, right? We were just doing constant drugs in the house. One day I'm sleeping on the couch, finally. I was up for days. I'm passed out on the couch, and my eyes are closed, and I can see light in my eyeballs. So I'm like, what's going on? So I open my eyes, and there's U.S. Marshals everywhere in the living room with guns on me, telling me, don't move, stay where you are. Now, I've only seen U.S. Marshals in movies, so obviously I tell them, you got the wrong guy. I didn't kill nobody, you know? But apparently they're felony warrant squad, just so you guys know. It was February 22nd of 2006. February 22nd, 2006. That was the day they came. I remember it was a huge snowstorm. It was 6:30 in the morning, which is the time they always come, between 6 and 8. Always, like clockwork. So I'm like, what the hell? I'm so startled. I'm like, yo, Sal, I don't know where he is. They got him sitting in the kitchen in a chair. I'm like, bro, you let him in the house? And one of the guys like, bro, he had the house surrounded. And then I hear him, he's like, I'm on parole, dude. And I mean, if he's on parole, obviously he cannot have somebody who has warrants in his house, because he can go to prison. So they asked me, like, where's the drugs? I'm like, officer, if I had any drugs, I wouldn't be sleeping right now, to be honest with you. He's like, all right. So they bring me out front in cuffs. It's snowing like hell. There's like 6 black SUVs out there. The whole neighborhood's out at this time of day, which was nuts, because Central Islip is the hood. There's nobody out at that time, except Velociraptor crackheads. That's it, running up and down the block with TVs and jewelry. But yeah, so they bring me outside. Everybody's outside. It was so embarrassing, man. They bring me into the SUV, and then right after they get me in, they call off all the further sweep for the day because it was snowing too hard. So my luck prevails once again. Yeah, apparently they were doing a sweep, picking up a bunch of people. That's why they had all the SUVs. So They bring me back to jail. And now by this time I've done 18 months in Phoenix House. Before that, I was in jail for 6. So now, I mean, damn, we're looking at over 2 years already been off the street right there, you know. I go back to jail. I see legal aid. The legal aid's like, listen, they want the 4 years back. I said, bro, there's no way. I'm not. There's no way. I've given you guys 2 years already. There's no way I'm doing a 4. There's no way. Like it's a probation violation. Like, what are you talking about? But legal aids do that. For those of you that don't know, they work for the DA. People think that's made up. It's absolutely true. They do not have your best interest at heart. Your best thing you can do is fire them instantly. The second they say something you don't want to hear, can them, get rid of them. You got to, because they're gonna get you hemmed, right? So he's telling me, he's like, oh, I know this judge, he's not gonna go any lower. I said, bro, I don't want to hear that. Like, you're fired. That's it. So then we got to go in the courtroom. I got to say, Your Honor, I'm releasing my legal aid. I do not feel like he has my best interest at heart. I'm requesting another one. And then normally they'll give you something called I think it's a B18 or a B60. I think it's a B18 or definitely not B12. That's energy. I think it's a B18 lawyer, which is pro bono, but they're paid by the state, but they actually work for you. They're actually really good. So long story short, I ended up getting sentenced to 364 days in the county. Out of that, I did 8 months. I got out September 12th of 2008. Got pregnant, got my baby mother pregnant in October of 2008, 1 month later. My daughter came in July, still using drugs. Cleaned up for a while after my daughter was born, though. Definitely July 24th of 2009. 2009, yeah. Wow, just getting old, man. So anyway, fast forward, you know, I ended up just continuing to use drugs, right? So things get bad. Fast forward all the way down to 2019. My daughter's 9. Her mother passes away. Absolutely horrible. Like, I don't wish it on anybody. Absolutely horrible. Horrible. Okay? I'm not going to go into that too much because my daughter is 13 now. And Jayla, I love you. I know you're probably watching this. Terrible situation. But I started spiraling again after that. You know, could have been a better father after that. Got a lot of regret. Instead of embracing people, I dealt with it like a baby because I'm numb to death. I'm numb to emotion. You know, I've lost a lot of friends due to drugs, and it's just not something I deal with. You know, I don't think I still processed it. But anyway, yeah. So I started spiraling. You know, instead of pulling my daughter closer, I pushed her away. And met my wife. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I did music for a long time. All right. We're actually really good. My group was called Dead Rabbits. Performed all over. My wife's from Pennsylvania. Her ex-boyfriend was a show promoter. He used to book us all the time. That's how I met her. But we didn't get together till a long time later. So met my wife, left. My daughter was 5. Okay. That was just backtracking. So now my daughter's mother passed, spiraled out of control. Where are we going? Started using drugs heavy again, right? I got a civil service job at this time, driving trucks, doing well. Like I honestly was doing well, but I also self-sabotage a lot. Things going good, got to throw them down the drain. So decided to move to Pennsylvania. I was like, I got to get out of here. I got to go to Pennsylvania. Come to Pennsylvania. It's bad from jump. No, actually, it was good. It was good for a while, actually. I'm lying. And then it went bad quick. All right, got involved in the streets again. Ended up getting arrested several times. Finally got taken down on a warrant, which I didn't know I had because I was going to court. But put me in jail, right? And now here I am. I'm out. February 20th, I got out of this year, 2023, and here I am. That was just a quick little recap on me, just so you guys are up to speed with some of the stuff that's happened. And excuse me if I keep looking over. There's some guy and his Shrek-looking wife staring at me. So I don't know who it's weirder for, me talking to my phone or them staring at me. But anyway, Yeah, so that's just the background on me, okay? The reason I'm doing this channel is because, you know, there's a lot of injustice and unjust sentences and stuff that need to be addressed in the jail and prison system. There's a lot of good guys in there that don't belong in there. It's just crazy, you know. Yeah, they're guilty. They don't think they're innocent, but the sentences are just, they're ridiculous. There's people in there for way too long. All they want to do is get home to their families. You know, it rips apart a lot more than just the inmate. It rips apart the families. I mean, there's nothing worse than watching a grown man, including myself, late nights with your cellie, bawling, crying your eyes out because everything is falling apart around you and there's nothing you can do about it. You're on punishment. You're locked in a bathroom with another man, literally. You know, it's just horrible, man. And a lot of these guys, I mean, I've seen a few of them lose everything. I mean, first the job goes, then normally your parents will stop coming around. Your friends are never there. The guy friends are never there, okay? Guys do not care when you're gone. They want you out of the way. Most of them are jealous. They'll try and get with your girl while you're gone, whatever. You know, they will not pick up the phone, nothing. And that's for everybody I was in there with. Anybody who's got anything is because they got a female on the outside. But, yeah, normally first the parents go. Then, you know, maybe your brothers and sisters. And then your wife or your girlfriend is hanging on as long as she can. But eventually the financial burden gets too much and it's just, you're fighting all the time because you're around testosterone all day. You got to adapt and act a certain way. So you're stuck in that mode and you just snap for no reason. They get tired of it. They're gone. Now you got nobody, you know. And I'm fortunate enough that I do. So it's bad, all right? But there's just a lot of things that need to be brought to light. And if I can even get a conversation started about them, I'm happy with that, you know? But this lady's pissing me off right now. I apologize. But yeah, it just threw me totally off track. I apologize. But obviously there's a lot of other stories that I know you guys want to hear. The blood and gore, the you know, the exciting stuff, and we're gonna have them every week. You know, once in a while I'm gonna throw in something from social issues, you know, maybe things that are going on in the prison system, articles, all types of things, as well as stories from my life, which are also crazy, okay? So it's gonna be a good channel. We'll have my boy Randy, my boy Rel, my boy Mike, who I was in with all them. They'll be on from time to time, as much as they want. And, I mean, we feed off each other. It will go a lot smoother than this is, you know, because, I mean, we clown when we're together. And the stories that we'll have is going to be hilarious. So that's basically why I'm doing the channel. And now let's get to the topic, all right? The first day in, all right, you get arrested. They're taking you from wherever you got arrested at to central booking, all right? In this case, it was in the jail, Lehigh County Prison, it's called, because it's not a jail, it's a prison. All right. The difference is jail is 364 and down, prison 364 and up. Yes, you can do longer if you're unsentenced in county, and there is other stipulations, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But anyway, so they take you to the jail. You sit in the bullpen, which is a big room, normally with anywhere from just you to maybe 30 other people in there. Who knows? Depends how many people got arrested that day. If it was a live weekend, there's going to be a lot of people in there. And there's going to be a lot of drunk people because it's also the drunk tank. And that's annoying as hell. So yes, there's a lot of fights in the bullpen too. Seen it happen many times. You're going to sit in there for probably hours on end. Literally, it's going to be freezing cold no matter what time of year it is. And they're going to give you a blanket that looks like a yellow garbage bag. And that's what you're supposed to use to stay warm. And then eventually, if you're lucky, they're going to come and bring you a bag lunch containing a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which is, I mean, the thinnest amount of either on it, a bag of chips, and a small bottle of water. That's it. That's all you're going to eat. Then at some point, they're going to come call you out. You're going to have to go get changed. They already took your property when you came in, your phone, your earrings and stuff. You're going to go get changed into, in this case, it was blues. All right. You take everything off, put the blues on, your socks, everything. Tidy whities, which are the worst. the worst part of this jail. Their tighty whities, also known as Superman drawers, which I don't understand because I don't feel like Superman in it. I feel like a creep because everything falls out of everywhere it's not supposed to. They're horrible. They're uncomfortable. It's a mess. It's a mess. If anything would keep me out of jail, it's those tighty whities. Trust me. All right. So you're going to get changed. They're going to put your property in a bag, your clothes. They're going to hang it up. You ain't going to see that again until the day you leave. Or if you're allowed to wear street clothes to go to court, maybe if you're on trial or something, which I wouldn't recommend, I would get a suit, but people do it, then you might be able to change back into your clothes. That's the only other time you're going to see them. You're going to get dressed, go back into the holding cell, the bullpen. You're going to sit there, God knows how long, till someone comes and says, let's go. By this point, you're cold, you're pissed off, you've been arguing with other people, listen to them argue, you're trying to sleep on a roll of toilet paper and a yellow plastic blanket, not working out, on a piece of wood, which is actually more comfortable than the steel beds. So they come pull you out, they're going to bring you to a back room. Now you're going to have to do fingerprinting. And it's no more with ink. Now it's like some infrared thing. You got to roll your hand, roll your fingers. Oh, it didn't work. We got to do it again. Like, enough, dude. Okay? Enough. All right? I've been fingerprinted 40 times in my life. Doubt they changed that much. All right? After you fingerprint, they're going to tell you to stand against the wall. They're going to give you that cool little sign that everyone knows, and you're going to get your mug shot. I always try to look tough in my mug shot. Never works out. They always take it at the moment I look like I'm going to the bathroom or something crazy. All right? But anyway, you take your mug shot. Then they're going to want to document your tattoos, right? Now, I got sleeves. I have my chest. They want to take pictures of every tattoo, know what everyone means, see if there's any gang affiliation. I do have a 5-point crown on the inside of my elbow, which is not for gangs. It's because my wife and I got king and queen crowns. Mine was just big and had 5 points. So I got gang affiliation. It's off to a good start already this time. And that brought other things in jail, which we will get into later in another episode. But I had to go over every single tattoo, man, and convince this guy that they're not gang tattoos. Like I said, hey, dude, it says Smooth Groove. What gang is that? Never heard of it. But that took like 45 minutes, right? So go back in the bullpen. Finally, they come in, they give you your mattress, which is this thick. And when you sleep on it, it's this thick on top of steel. After about a month of that, my hips are numb, my legs are numb. It's horrible. You got your mattress, 2 blankets, a sheet, and your clothes. That's it. Two pairs of blues and the one you got on. So from there, down the hallway we go into a little pod. A pod is not like a cell block with gates. It's got doors. If you ever seen the show Oz, it's like that. 2 tiers, steel benches, tables on the floor. Normally it's like 96 guys, top and bottom tier. The isolation, which is where you go first, is only, I'd say 20, 10 on top, 10 on bottom. Hold on, somebody's calling me. 10 on top, 10 on bottom, and that's it. All right, now you're in isolation. I was in there for 6 days by yourself, detoxing. So was most of the people. The second day they came in, drugged me up on all types of stuff. I was on Librium, Klonopin, Benadryl, Seroquel, which are body bags. That's for sleeping, and I'd never been so knocked out in my life. It was horrible. I couldn't even walk. My feet were shuffled. It was a job to even move. But I got to say, it worked because I was scared to death of detoxing, and it wasn't bad. Why is my phone lagging? All right. But it wasn't that bad. I had one night, I threw up the whole night. I was on the floor. There was nothing they would do for me. I said I had to get it out. I thought I was dying, but I didn't. Then I woke up one day, and I wasn't sick no more, and that is the most incredible blessing I've ever felt in my life. All right. But so after 6 days, I mean, the food, I wasn't even eating the food. All right. That was my first time seeing the food there. It was disgusting. Threw it back under the door. Never ate for 6 days until I got to the next pod, which was where I ate a lot. The food was still garbage, though. All right. And we'll get into, like, the menu and stuff like that in another episode too. But so one day they come in, they give you a swab for a COVID test, all right? And apparently COVID is found on your brain, because that's exactly what they're hitting with that thing. I don't care what anybody says. It's not comfortable. It tickles and is weird at the same time, and it feels like someone punched me in the face for the next 3 hours. But got my COVID swab. Next day they come in, they're like, all right, you guys are out. Take all your stuff, go in the hallway. Take all the stuff, go in the hallway, place everything down. There's like 15 of us and like 20 COs. So put our stuff down the hallway. We get on the opposite wall. There's 2 closets. It's like 7 minutes in heaven, but nothing good about it. Nothing good about what I'm about to describe, all right? So one at a time, they take us, 2 people, 1 in each closet with a CO. My CO that had me looked like Danny DeVito. He was about 4'6", fat, balding. Not balding, bald. I'm balding. Watch your mouth. And it was ridiculous. He first, take off your shoes, bang them together, put them to the side. Done. Take off your socks. Do not shake them out. Give them to me. Done. Give them to him. Take off your shirt. Done. Give them to him. He checks through it. Nothing. Take off your pants. Done. Now I'm sitting there in my tighty whities with twigs and berries everywhere, out of every hole. Ridiculous. So awkward. Like, I've never felt violated in my life except when I've done this. And I've done it before. Obviously, I've been in jail. In Riverhead, you had to do it every time you got visit because it was contact. Here, in this one, there's no contact visit. It's a federal holding facility. So it's a glass. You're behind it with a telephone. So we didn't have to do it then. But so next, take off your underwear. Underwear off. Put it to the side. Lift it up. Lift your junk. Make sure there's nothing under there. I don't know how you're going to be. It's just going to be floating under my whatever. I don't know how, but turn around, spread them, squat, and cough. Spread them, squat, and cough. That's a good tattoo for somebody, right? I should get it. It's the most degrading thing ever. It's absolutely horrible, and you just want to get out of there. Like, I try to make light of the situation. I like look at him like, I don't envy you, bro. And he's like, hey, man, I just want to do my job and go home. I can respect it, you know? I can respect it. But it's so uncomfortable. So from there, you're going back in the hallway. You get dressed, go back in the hallway, wait for everybody to be done. Like 20 minutes later, you're done. They give you your transit card. Listen to this guy. Really? What do you got to rev your motorcycle for? Just drive away, dude. Seriously. So you get your transit card, tells you where you're going. First block I'm going to is 2B, which is another quarantine block at this time because even though COVID was 75 years ago, they were still under regulation. So I go in there. Now this block I go into, there's 96 people, okay? There's still no tension or anything because everybody's new, you know, so there's nobody really clicked up or nothing like that. It was pretty easy going. So I go in, a 12 cell, bottom left corner. I'm by myself right now for about a week. Still haven't been able to call my wife because you couldn't call in isolation. You don't get tablets in this pod yet. And this pod, you're only out 2 hours a day. So it's 22 and 2. And it goes like every 6 cells or something like that. So it's very rarely that you could call. It was very stressful on me, very stressful on her. I'm going to have an interview with her down the road where, you know, she'll talk about what it's like to be a single woman on the outside with a husband inside. Now she's got to fend for herself, you know, and take care of me with one job. This guy's pissing me off, man. But stay cool. I'm on parole. Stay cool. So, yeah. So you're in that cell 22 hours a day. All right. You come out, not doing much, taking a shower, maybe sitting on lawn chairs, watching TV, little plastic deck chairs, watching TV with a bunch of grown men, and it's subtitles only. There's no volume, subtitles only, because everybody's so loud in jail. It's the loudest place you'll ever hear in your life. No joke. That you can't hear the TV anyway, so they just put subtitles on. So learn to become a quick reader. And if you can't read, you're deaf now. So watch TV, take a shower, You know, do some push-ups or something. That's it. I mean, the food's still garbage. It's always garbage. You know, you lose a lot of... I lost a lot of weight in jail. I went in, I was like 270, okay? I came out, I was 245. I'm 245 right now. I got up to 700 push-ups a day, doing sit-ups, pull-ups, all that, all right? I pretty much have a six-pack. I'm 6'5.5". Haven't had one since I was in the military, all right? And I'm in the best shape I've been in 20 years, easy, okay? But, so like a week later, I get my first celly. The worst part of jail, for me, the worst part of jail is getting a new celly or going into someone else's cell, because you never know what you're going to get. And you're two grown men that probably have nothing in common. You're both emotionally shot, pissed off, have so much going on that the littlest thing could set you off. And now I got to live with you in a bathroom. Two grown men. You're farting all over the place. Like, so disrespectful. And everything in jail is about respect. Even though the most disrespectful people in the world, it's all about respect when you're there. And it's crazy, but it's the way it is. You know, you can get in a fight over nothing because of disrespect. But it's the worst part. It's the worst part. And there's been several occasions where I've seen people make their celly leave immediately. And I've also done such. But I refuse to leave a cell. I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to pay rent. And I'm going to fight. Even if I lose, I'm going to come back the next day. And you're going to respect me. You'll get tired of me eventually. You know, I've lost plenty. But we'll get into those. So I get a celly. And he actually ends up being cool as hell. I got lucky, right? I mean, we had a blast. He was only there he bailed out probably like after a few days. But after that, it was my time to go anyway. So now it's time to go to general population. This is where the first day in starts. This is the new kid on the block, right? So my first pod that I'm going to is 3 Alpha, 3A. All right, now every day when I was in quarantine, in isolation, you hear Code Red, 3 Alpha, Code Red, 3 Delta, constantly. Code Red means inmate on inmate fight. So you already know it's popping off up there. There's a lot of young kids in this jail, all gang members, all shooters, most of them, all getting caught with guns. It's crazy. Like, I've never seen anything I've never been to a jail like that in my life. But, so anyway, I get up to 3A and that door cracks, right? You're by yourself. You got your mattress, your blankets, like a fool. Walk in the door. Second you walk in, all eyes are on you. You can feel the tension immediately, all right? Everybody's sizing you up. Everybody's trying to see if you're going to be food or prey. They're trying to already mentally thinking of, you know, how they can take advantage of you, what they're going to do. And you can feel it. It's tense. It's a tense situation, you know. Hopefully you know somebody in there to calm it down a little bit, you know, take your mind off it. Hopefully you don't have any enemies in there, because if you do, it's gonna start right away. If you're a man, you're gonna handle it right away. You have no choice, which is actually what happened to me with 3A. All right. Before I went to jail out here, I got involved in some nonsense. I'm not gonna go into it because obviously it never came to light. But the person I was doing it with, it did come to light. All right. So me and him had big problems in the street. It honestly wasn't me, it was him. He was talking reckless and threatening me and all types of stuff. So I go into the pod, there he is, sitting at the table, right? He don't look at me, he didn't see me. So I was going into 15 cell with my boy Zay. Zay, you're not coming home anytime soon, bro, but I love you, I hope you're good. And I just put my stuff on top of the bunk, didn't even unroll my stuff. And I was like, bro, I'll be back. He's like, you're not gonna fix your bed? Because as I said, everything's about respect. And if you're leaving a mess, they're gonna get angry. So I was like, I gotta go press somebody real quick because we had a problem in the street. So as you're supposed to do, I go directly over to him and I'm like, yo, what's up? And he's like, what's up? I'm like, we got a problem, or are we cool? Like, do we need to go take care of it right now or what? Like, I need to know if I got to watch my back, you know, because if so, we got to handle it right now. He's like, oh, no, we cool. I'm like, all right, confirmed. Not a tough guy, you know? And I'm not either. Don't get me wrong. When I tell these stories like this, I've had my ass beat plenty of times, all right? I've backed down before. But as I've gotten older, and especially when I'm sober, that is the big part. When I'm sober, I have no tolerance for stuff. I have a hair trigger temper. It stinks, but it's the way it is. And anyway, that worked out for me. Okay, it worked out. Thank God, because I don't want to fight either. You know, I don't want to fight, but sometimes you got to test people's heart because you can guarantee you're going to get yours tested. So that happened. Go in, lay my bed out, you know, and it's a real tense situation, man. Like I said, stuff like that's going to happen all the time. People are constantly going to be coming in. You're constantly be getting moved. You never know what is going to happen. Anything is possible, and I mean anything. In my later episodes, I'll tell you about some of the stuff I saw this time around, and I mean, it's mind-boggling. But, yeah, so you come in, boom. It's bad enough that everybody's eyes are on you, right? Tension's up. People are talking smack and stuff like that. Some of them under their breath, some of them out loud. But everybody's talking, you know. New fish, new meat, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, all right, bro. All right. You know, and yeah, of course, it's not an easy feeling. You're uncomfortable. I don't care who you are. If they tell you they're not uncomfortable, they're lying. Because, I mean, I've been removed from this situation for so long, and now I'm back in it, you know. But at the same time, when I'm up there, I remember, and I know how to jail. You know, it's not something to brag about, but I can adapt. If you can't adapt, as I said before, if you cannot adapt, I mean, mentally and physically, you're not going to make it. You have to either become a sheep in wolf's clothing or become a wolf for real. Because if you're not, I mean, they smell it, you know, and they're gonna take everything you got, and it's just the way it is. You know, I don't want to get too much into it because it's another episode. But so everybody's staring at you, and you got to go into the unknown now. A cell that's not yours. Somebody else has been living there, so it's their house. So I walk in right away. It's a ethnic kid, 24 years old. I'm like, oh man, here we go. Luckily, Zay was the coolest celly I think I've had. Like, he was the man. I love Zay, man. And he's not coming home for a while, for a few years, but he was the man. We had a blast. I got so lucky. Laughed our asses off, man. Jail is also one of the funniest places in the world, all right? Yeah, so, I mean, that's it. I got in there probably around 2 in the afternoon, ate dinner, and that was it. I had that one problem. But, I mean, I've seen people, I mean, if your celly's not going to accept you into the cell, like, you're either going to have to fight and make him leave, or you're going to have to take all your stuff in front of everybody, turn around, go put it at the gate, which is the exit to the pod, and they're going to take you to the hole. They're going to want to know who your enemy is, why you're leaving, and if you won't tell them, you're going to the hole. If you do tell them, you're a snitch, right? So it's got to be humiliating. It's got to be embarrassing, okay? So, yeah, you get in your cell, there's cell etiquette. The guy's going to lay down the ground rules of his house, which you just got to listen to and take, all right? Because we don't want problems. If we have to, we will, but we don't want them. You don't back down. So normally it's, there was a real weird one here. These guys, when they would go to pee, they would either do so kneeling on the floor or sit backwards on the toilet. It is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. I said, bro, why don't you just sit the right way if you're going to sit? I don't understand, bro. I guess it makes you a woman or something, but you're sitting backwards, dude. Like, what are you doing, bro? You look like you're riding a scooter. Kneeling on the floor, bro. I said, dude, listen to me, man. No disrespect, but I ain't kneeling on the floor to pee for nobody. I'm not putting my head near something that I'm pissing in. Not happening, bro. Not happening. It's a big thing because, as I said, the respect. They want to keep the noise down, so they don't want the long stream making noise. Well, something's going to have to happen over that because I'm not sitting backwards on the toilet, and I ain't kneeling on the floor. So that got across. Next thing is no flushing the toilet in the middle of the night. Don't agree with that. I'm flushing the toilet, especially if I'm on the bottom bunk and my head is right in the other thing and I got to smell that all night. Not happening. And that happened with my last cellie. I had to tell him many times, bro, I don't care if you wake me up. I'd rather wake up from the sound of the toilet than the smell of your piss, bro. Straight up, you know. That's another big one, all right? You never wake anybody up. Never wake anybody up when you're sleeping. It's the only time that you're not there. Again, jail is all here. It's not physical. It's all in your mind. There's no corrections. There's nothing. If you choose to do nothing, you do nothing. You get involved in all the BS that's going on, and that's what you're going to do. And you're probably going to end up with more time, like most people. Well, not most people, a lot of people, all right? Yeah. Another thing, you got a desk with 2 cubby holes and a shelf, right? The shelf's up there. So, and there's hooks on the shelf. So he's going to tell you, this side of the desk is mine, that side's yours. This cubby hole's mine, that cubby hole's yours, and this hook is mine. Sometimes you'll get cellmates who try to take everything. And again, they're testing you. No matter how it comes out, they're testing you. They're seeing what they can get away with, because you give them an inch, they're going to take 100 feet. And you're not going to like it. So you have to stop that right there, okay? So I put all my stuff away. Yeah, all right, blah, 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 you know. What else did he have? Floor has to be cleaned every day. Cell has to be sprayed down every day. A lot of these guys live behind 7-Eleven when they're on the street, okay? But they get to jail, and now they want to keep their apartment spotless. It doesn't make any sense, you know? If you were this worried about responsibilities when you were in the street, you wouldn't be living in the street. But some people only know how to live in a controlled environment, you know, and I was becoming that way as well. Yeah, really. It's messed up to even think about. But wanted the floor cleaned every day, blah, 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 whatever. Cool, man. I'll do it one day, you do it the next. I remember one night I was eating Cheez-Its, right? Off commissary, watching TV in the cell. Because you get it, we had a TV, we bought one. So the little 13-inch flat screens, they suck, okay? They're color, but we had mad channels, over 100 channels. It was incredible. That was incredible. So I'm eating Cheetos, and I fall asleep, right? And bag's empty, little tiny, one of those little bags, party size. Fall asleep. I wake up in the morning, and I see it on the floor, right? So I'm like, oh, hell no, this dude. And it's just sitting there. And he's up. He's sitting on his bed watching TV. I know he's seen it. He ain't pick it up. So now I know he's going to say something. I know he's going to say something. So I'm like, shit. So I wake up. I'm like, oh, what's up, man? Good morning. He's like, what's up? I'm like, nothing, bro. Like, what's going on, man? He's like, yo. I'm like, what? He's like, you see that on the floor there? I'm like, oh, yeah. He's like, yeah, like we can't be having that, man. Like, it's got to be thrown out. I'm like, bro, it fell off my bed when I was sleeping, man. Like, I apologize. You know, I didn't throw it on the street. Meanwhile, you probably driving in your car throwing everything but the stereo out the window, you know? But whatever. I'll pick it up. He's right. I'm wrong. You know, regardless, it fell on the floor. Swallow your pride and just do what the man asks, you know? I'm by no means a yes man, but I will avoid problems if it's possible without me being disrespected. If I'm disrespected, it's got to be handled, okay? Win or lose. I don't want to talk about it. Like I said, it's another episode. So this is all within like the first night, all right? other firsts for the first day on the block like that. You're going to get approached by a lot of people. I mean, they're going to ask you what you're in for. Sometimes, in most jails, they're going to want to see your paperwork to see if you have good or bad charges, meaning if you're a child molester, a pedophile, a rapist, a snitch, you can't live there. You know, it's going to go bad for you. I mean, you're not even going to have the choice to leave. It's just going to go bad for you. You cannot even go to yard until your paperwork's ran. They don't do that here, which is crazy. It's crazy. One of the guys I was in with, we knew he had a big charge. He was down here from Reading on a FBI case. It was a ring, but we weren't really sure what he was in for. He kept to himself until he went to court, which this is, you can look this up. This was in the news. This was like a month ago, maybe two. Yeah, like a month ago. I've only been out a month, maybe like 3 weeks ago. He went to court. He got life plus 130 years, okay? Because they were involved in a major human trafficking ring where they were pistol whipping little kids, forcing them into sex, and keeping them in cages. Disgusting. But that should have been stopped the second he came in because it should have been checked. But it's just, I don't even want to talk about it. But, I mean, that's really, from what I could think of, it's really the gist of it. You know, you're gonna walk around, you're gonna mingle, you're gonna hopefully make some new acquaintances, and that's it. You know, I don't want to run too much over. So this was just the first episode, you know what I mean? If you even want to call it that, let's call it a pilot, all right? Because I'm still honing my skills, getting used to talking to myself. I got no problem talking, especially when there's no one talking back. But looking at myself doing it, kind of weird, all right? But, yeah, I just want to thank everybody who gave even a minute to tune into this, showed any interest at all. I promise you, this was a slow episode. I have crazy stuff in store for you, okay? Stay with me. Stay tuned. I love all of y'all. Every one of y'all that's hit me up and gave me support. It means more than you know. Obviously, it's been a difficult time. Every little word of encouragement helps. And that's that. As I said, the equipment will get better as I get